Okay, this is the second recording. So we have data pulled into Power BI Desktop from the different data sources, and now we will talk about how to explore the data and do some initial, and also in the process understand the capabilities of the tool. So we'll talk about the different sections of the desktop, the ribbon, and then the data window here. Talk about sales having 3 million rows of data. Also, just for this section, in the previous section, I forgot to mention, we'll be bringing only 3 years of data, like we discussed last week. So with 3 years of data, we are about at about 3 million rows of data. And then we go to the relationship section and create a relationship between, talk about the need for relationship and create a relationship between date and date. Okay, and then come back here and start building our first visual. And here we start with Tamir, like you suggested, I'm kind of following the script you suggested, where we select country and revenue. It shows up as a map. We'll change it to let's say column chart, and we see that it is all of them have the same revenue. So this is because there's no relationship between geography and sales. So we'll create new columns. Once that's done, the country, then first time we showed how to create a relationship by dragging the line, the fields here. This time around we'll use manage relationship to create a relationship, just to get the user aware of this option as well. So zip country, okay. So now we have a relationship here. Now we see this chart is updated. We see sales in US is the most, followed by Australia. We'll talk about a little bit of sorting, and then we'll bring in, okay, what's the sales by manufacturer in each of these countries. So we bring in manufacturer, then change this to a stack chart, just to show how easy it is to change it. Now this gives a lot of information, but there's too many manufacturers. It's kind of tough to gauge my competition. So what I'm going to do is I just want to see my top 5 manufacturers. So I'll show that feature. Now I see my top 5. So I found out Aliq, Curious, Natura, PDM, and are the main competitors of Von Arstel. And we see that sales in USA is pretty good, but sales in Australia is about 50%. So there's a higher percent of sales in Australia. Now, okay, if I do not want to see my top 5, I want to compare my competitors versus just Von Arstel. How do I go about doing that? To do that, we can create groups. So this way we can show the grouping functionality. So I want these are my top competitors. And I want to compare with Von Arstel and others. Now here it becomes a little more clear. Van Arstel is at 186 million, and the top competitors are 139. But here, if you see Van Arstel is 326, and the others are 417. So the percentage-wise, Australia is doing better. So in this, the next thing we'll say, okay, in this chart, in this report, we just want to work with our top 5 competitors across all visuals. Initially, what we did was, when we did the top 5, it was visual level filters, so we want to do page level filters. So I'll take out manufacturer from this chart, and then I will create a page level filter, pick my top 5. Now we're working with the top 5 manufacturers. Next thing is we will create a chart by product category. And we'll talk about, okay, we can start by just dragging fields and creating a hierarchy, and product here, and then we'll select revenue, and then, so this is one way of doing it. But if you want to redo this chart, then it's see the things move. So if you want to redo it or create this hierarchy over and over, it's easier to instead of dragging category, segment, and product each time, it's easier to just create a hierarchy. So we will talk about how to create a hierarchy here. Category, segment, product, and we'll remove those fields. We'll just do that. Now this gives, if I click on USA, you see numbers, but it'll be nice to see nice to see a percent growth, or compare with other countries. How do we compare it easily with other countries? So to do that, we can show the percent of grand total, and we can also add some conditional formatting. And I know, Tamir, you said you prefer not to show a matrix, but it's one of the most commonly used visuals. So I just want to introduce that to the user and how easy it is to navigate through it. So here I can talk about drill down, drill up, and so forth, and show that as we select different countries, convenience is big, whereas in Australia, extreme is big, and so forth. So that's a quick introduction to matrix, and also how to create a quick measure as well. The next thing is, okay, so we have this, it's a table visual. Now I want to see this in a different format, how easy it is to change it. I want to change it into maybe a line and cluster chart. I do that, and then add percentage to line, so I can quickly change that into a different chart type. So the next thing I want to do is maybe add one over time. Had a chart over time, so I'll do that. So we have 3 years of data, and talk about how it automatically created a date hierarchy there. And this is where we'll start analyzing a little more. Click on USA, Australia, and so forth, and see that it slices the data. So I want to talk about edit interactions here, so it's easier to see the filtering of data. Okay, so we filter data, and now if I look at Australia, I see there's a bigger spike compared to USA, and then if I click Australia also, I see that extreme is a lot more sales in extreme section. I drill into extreme, and here we can now see that Australia is very big in sales of extreme. In 2017, there is a big spike in sales. Now I would just want to see how my company Van Arstel is doing, so I'm going to add a slicer for manufacturer, filter down to Van Arstel, and maybe make this format this slicer a little. do something like that. Just show the different options available in a slicer. I filter down to 1 hour still, then then we'll talk about drill down in 2017, see basically again talk about drilling up, drilling down, see that sales in quarter 3 and 4 went up. So if I want to see all the different months in 2017, I can go down to the next level, talk a little bit of formatting here as well, because now I don't know which year I'm in. I can go into x-axis, do that, hopefully that works. Okay, now I see I'm in 2017. Drill down. Oh, that still doesn't work well, but yeah, anyways, I'll figure out a few formatting options here. Just talk about formatting, changing color and stuff. And then we go into September and see the sales of this particular product when it spiked, which is 04 and so forth. We'll talk about that a little bit, drill down, see that the first 3 months there was a big spike for product 4. And then we'll build a scatter plot. Oh, the other thing I want to do here is also look at some data. So go to data and drill and talk about see data feature and see records feature, just to show them the different features that's available. And then the next thing we do is build a scatter plot. Units, revenue by product. And then I can add date to the play axis. Actually, yeah. Just testing something out here. So I can just select product 4 and see how it's moved over time, how the sales have changed. Also, I'm thinking I'll add some legend in here, and then if I pick a couple of different, well, I need to play around with this, but basically we'll add a scatter plot here and figure out how that works. The next thing we'll do is create bookmarks. Now that we have a story, again, bookmarks, we're not going to create all the bookmarks. I'm just going to introduce the users to the bookmarks so that they can start creating the story. So we'll say, okay, I'll take out all the filters and show them from the beginning how you go about creating a bookmark. So we are in the initial state all the way up. Now we are in the initial state, and then we go to view, bookmark pane, and then start adding bookmarks. And then this is the initial one, and then we say, okay, I want to click on USA and see my sales. Then we go to Australia, see that, talk through this, and then go to urban, see that extreme is big here, whereas when we compare here to this, add a bookmark, and then go into 2017 and so forth. So I'll just introduce them to bookmarks and how you can change the names and so forth. And once the bookmarks is done, how you can view through it and so forth. So just a quick introduction to bookmarks, because I do not want to build like 10, 15 bookmarks. That'll take a long time for them to go through in the lab. So that's the plan for section 2 of the lab. And then section 3 is where they'll be building a full-fledged report with the logos and stuff and some year-to-date calculation and so forth.